Welcome, students, to the subject cryptography and network security. We are in module 2 of the subject, and the next session in this module is about man in the middle attack. The previous sessions we have seen what actually defilement attack is, and also we have solved a simple problem on how the key exchange takes place to demonstrate the exchange of keys, right? So now, while we were demonstrating that key exchange, it was told that when between the two parties involved in the communication, there is no way that either of them prove their identity, right? So when they are not able to prove their identity, what actually happens, right? So let's see what actually happens, what might happen, what type of attack might take place. Now, this man in the middle attack, as the name itself says, so you can say that man in the middle attack, man in the middle means what? You are having communication happening between the party A and the party B. So in this communication, in between this communication, there is another person C who is eavesdropping this particular communication. So this is what basically known as man in the middle attack. So what basically this person who is sitting in between A and B does is he will be listening to the communication that is happening between A and B, right? Uh, for when he wants to impose an attack for A, he acts as B, and for B, he acts as A. So that is how he is going to steal their identity. Going to steal the identity of A for B and steal the identity of B for A. Right? So, but A and B will not be aware of this. A and B will just think that B will think that A is sending the message, A will think that B is sending the message, but who will be sending the message? Instead of A for B, C is sending some messages, and instead of B for A, C is sending a message. So that is what is the man in the middle attack. Now let's see how this is achieved. Because as you know, in case of defilement, you need to have that secret key getting shared, right? So now let's see how the attacker gets hold of that particular key, right? So as we know, there will be the global parameter. So what is the global parameter? One is P, which is nothing but the prime number, right? So this need not be sufficiently large, but you have a prime number, and then you have alpha, which is nothing but the primitive root of that prime number, right? Primitive root of prime number. Correct. Right. So now you know that the allies is the sender and Bob is the receiver. Now what allies do? Allies will generate XA, and then from this XA it is going to compute YA. Right? How it is going to compute YA? Alpha power XA mod P. Right. Now what it do? At the same time, at the Bob side, what happens? At the Bob end, that is the receiver end, XB, the private key will be selected. From this private key, is going to generate YB, right? Correct. So here, how it is YB is generated? That is alpha power XB mod P. So this is how the YB is generated. Now, once YA is generated and also YB is generated, they send the respective keys. YA will be sent to Bob, and here YB will be sent to Alice. Now, in between, we have attacker in the form of Darth here, right? Darth is attacker here. What he does is he will also generate two private keys. One is XD1 and the other one is XD2. He's generating these two private keys. Why he is generating two private keys? Because he wants to establish, he wants two public keys to be generated. One to establish connection with allies, other one to establish connection with Bob. Correct? So what Dart does is Dart will create YD1, which is the public key of him, and how he computes that using alpha and xd1 mod p. Now when this is happening, Neither Alice nor Bob has information of this. Right? YD2 he is going to create one more public key using XD2, that is the second private key. So both two public keys is created. This is created without the notice of either Alice or Bob. Now, when Alice send YA, she thinks that she is sending this YA to Bob. But what happens? Darth, who is an attacker, who is sitting in between that communication channel, he will receive that YA, he will keep it for himself, he will send YD1 to Bob instead of YA. Actually, here YA should have gone there. But instead of this, he has sent what? He has sent YD1. So with this, what he is trying to do, he is trying to establish connection with Bob. Now, when YD1 comes, Bob will think that Alice has sent this because there is nowhere Bob will get to know that Alice, the message whether it has come from Alice or it has come from Darth, because there is no authentication involved, right? Bob will receive one public key. That is what Bob knows. That's all. Who is sending that public key? He's not bothered about it, right? He thinks Alice, but in this case, Alice has not sent. Instead, Darth has sent. Now, at the same time, what he does is when he is sending YD1 to Bob, he will send YD to Alice. YD2 to Alice. Now, what Alice will think? YD2 is the public key of Bob because Alice has no way in which she can confirm that whether it is sent by Bob or somebody else. No. So she obviously feels that Bob has sent it, right? And here, what Bob will send YB to whom? To Alice, right? Bob will send YB to Alice, but what Darth does? Darth will take care of that YB. He will take that YB and keep it with him, right? Now, Alice has received YD2, Bob has received YD1. Now, Alice will generate the key, right? K. How she will generate? She will use this YD2 received from Bob. Actually, it is not received from Bob, but for her, it is received from Bob only. No, it's like she is received it from Bob. She'll use her private key and then create this key. Correct? Create this key. Now, what the Bob does? Bob will create one more key, right? And how Bob will create this key? He will make use of YD1 and his private key to create, right? So don't get confused with Q and P that I'm writing. I'm considering here Q is the prime number, but I have considered P, and that's why I'm writing P there, mod P. Okay, don't get confused. Now, so what Darth will do? Darth will generate the actual keys, correct? Darth will have the actual keys because Darth has YA as well as Darth has YB. So he will generate that actual keys. So these are the keys generated by Alice. K1 is the key. Let's say consider K1 is a key generated by Alice, or K say consider K2 only. K2 is the key generated by Alice, and K1 is the key generated by Bob. Now this K2 is used for the communication between Alice and Darth, but for Alice, it is with Bob, and K1 is used for communication between you know the Bob and Darth. For Bob, it is she is communicating with Alice, right? But actually, she is communicating with Darth. Now, to be if I want to put it clearly, there's actual secret key is present between what? It is present in the hands of Darth, right? So Alice, if we use K2, now Darth also uses K2, key K2 to decrypt that message. When it is used K1, Darth has that, he can make use of that key as well. So this is what the man in the middle attack. So by this way, now Darth has an option to either listen to only that communication or listen to all future communications. Even that he is possible that he can achieve through this, kind of message transfer that has taken place. So this is what is the man in the middle attack. So Alice will generate a key. He will send it to Darth. Darth, instead of sending that key to Bob, he will send his own key. At the other end, Bob will send public key to Darth. Darth, instead of sending his public key, he will instead of sending Bob's public key to Alice, he will send his public key to Alice. So thereby he is trying to get establish the relationship between both and then steal the message. So what is the disadvantage here? So we say that because of this man in the middle attack, we can tell that Diffie-Hellman is not fully secure, right? Because there is no authentication involved here. If we had a kind of authentication between Alice and Bob, then Darth, who is sitting in the middle, wouldn't have any job there, right? He might have not imposed an attack on the communication channel. So since there is no authentication exists, so this attack is taking place. And now, what we can do? So, is there any way in which we can do this? Yes, we can make use of the techniques like digital signature or digital certificate, so that we can verify the identities and then prevent the intruders from interfering. This can be done. Now, why we say that the modern communication protocol should have a defilement which is combined with authentication, right? So that is because to ensure that maximum security is obtained. So for that reason, Diffie-Hellman will not be used alone. Diffie-Hellman will be used along with authentication, so that confidentiality as well as the integrity of the message can be kept. So to achieve this authentication, what we can do, anyways, one way is by using the encryption and decryption. The other way is you can make use of the MAC or you can make use of hash also. Right. So this is about the man in the middle attack. Thank you.